And I can
keep playing.
Welcome back to another episode of Eagles Weekly. Here are your hosts, Brett, Haas, Mac, and Jack. How we feeling, fellas?
I am feeling freaking fantastic. My name is Brett of Eagles Daily. Welcome to Eagles Weekly, episode 33. I am joined today by international marketing guru Mac Hutchinson and our ACC athlete Jack Cyberlick. We are all here. How are we doing, boys?
Awesome.
We're back. Game week.
Yeah, 5 days, 5 sleeps. Can't wait.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it doesn't really feel like it, to be honest with you. I know we just had some week zero action, some good week zero action too. But
those are
I'm with you. Yeah, the Farmageddon game was great. Getting to see Stanford play, get a little tape on them was good too. Although it doesn't look like they're going to be very good, as you noted in the group chat, Mac. But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, it's really weird. It's weird that we're kind of like here, that we're like back, that like we're on the precipice of another season. I mean, this is like season 4 for me, season 3 as like a journalist, which is freaking crazy. Like, I still think back to being in the box for when me and you met, actually, Mac, against Holy Cross, being in the box for that and kind of feeling like we probably didn't belong, probably shouldn't have been there, you know.
What, in an overtime game against Holy Cross? Is that what you mean by we don't belong?
I sure do.
Yeah, Brett, what an intro to each other covering that game as our first in the box game, you know.
That was, I mean, unforgettable for the wrong reasons. You know, I would like it to be unforgettable as like, oh, that was our first time, you know, really as like media members, right? Like, that was the first time we got press access and all that cool stuff. But, you know, really, yeah, I mean, Jack just said it, like, that's what we remember that game for, is like the BS that entailed on the field.
Yeah. Did you guys stay through the Thunder or whatever? Wasn't it like a 2-hour delay?
Yeah. It was like it was only like, it was like a half hour, right?
It was just us and the Holy Cross fans that were in the stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, I left. Hand up, I left.
Yeah.
We just
Jack,
we
met you I met you a couple weeks later. I met you at I think the UConn game or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Because that was my first year post grad. Yeah, that was an interesting game because the next game it was kind of the inverse of that, where we were a 30-point underdog and almost beat Florida State. But yeah, that was crazy. That was a crazy couple weeks there.
Yeah. And then we got our doors absolutely blown off by Louisville all the while.
Oh yeah,
they're doing cartwheels on the freaking field.
Yeah.
Yeah, we cannot have another FCS repeat of that game against Fordham, which I don't expect at all. But
good segue into Fordham, because that cannot happen. We can't be. No. I want to see the Fordham quarterback doing what was this Matt Sluka? Was he?
That was Sluka.
Matt Sluka.
He was chirping us, saying ACC, ACC.
I got that was my video.
Yeah,
that was my video on the field.
That. Yeah.
Yep, that went viral. That was like I'll tell you what, man. Like, I thought I was so cool when that video blew up. Like, I thought I was the freaking man for that. Like, I have arrived. I am famous. Who wants my autograph? You know, and
yeah.
Brett. Speaking of the cover in the media, though, because I feel like similar to you, obviously I've been following this team for like 20 years plus as like a kid, but like the last 3 years following this team, I feel like we got to see, like, obviously it was awesome covering the Bill O'Brien hiring, but like the last few years, man, it's been like it's super hopeful, and you kind of, as we're getting into Bill O'Brien 2.0 here, his second season, you're just super excited about the potential here. I would say, looking at the schedule, we're about to get into it. I don't know if who knows if it'll translate into more wins this year. I know everyone keeps talking about 8 wins, haven't had 8 wins since 2019 or 2009 or whatever. But I feel like it's super hopeful. Even if you don't see it translate into wins, just understand like everything that Bill's doing from the top down, it's super hopeful for fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hopeful, and I feel like our other Jack, Jack Bergamini, who just wrote his first column for us last night, like he put it perfectly, just in terms of, the time is now, right? Like enough of, this stuff of, oh, maybe next year, oh, we'll be better next year. We have a sophomore quarterback who has 3 more years here. We'll be fine. We got to take our licks. It's just, at what point do you get to that crossroad where it's kind of like, when is that? You know what I mean? Like, when are we getting to the point where it's like, it's now, like, this is like, we've watched all these other schools kind of have their signature season, like Syracuse. I didn't even know Syracuse won 10 games last year, but they did. Wake Forest in 2022, like they had a phenomenal year. Like all these schools around us, like schools that are like on our level too. It's not like we're talking like, oh, Miami blew up again. Florida State blew up again, even though they're trash. Clemson blew up again. Like we're talking about kind of like peer ACC institutions that are like on our level, like kind of in the middle, especially with football. Like they've all had that like signature year where like they popped off. Yet here we are with like, oh yeah, we're 7-6 again, and it's just like maybe next year's the year. So I do like the attitude of it's kind of like, let's have that be now. Like the stars can align now. It doesn't. We don't have to kick. We're not. We shouldn't be like preparing or cooking for like a year or two from now. You know what I'm saying? Like the talent is there. The schedule's tough, but the talent's there, and you can get a lot of signature wins in this season too. You can rack those up, and like the bar's pretty low. You have an 8-5 season this year, like that's a signature season around here. So be it. But that's a good year.
I love the Eagles daily hype train right now. I feel like if you go to our website, the last 3 articles, it's like there's so much hope. Obviously, for the program is what we're trying to say, but it still has to be done. It still has to be executed. But like what you're saying, Brett, I know we briefly talked about this last podcast. There's like everything's at stake right now when you talk about whether it's the college football landscape, whether it's Father Jack coming in here with a new administration, whether it's that trying to get more money from the school to max out that $20.5 million, getting Blake James, the AD, trying to get him along as well. Like the nice thing is that you have a head coach that I think understands that it's super, everything's at stake right now, and if you win, that will help fuel getting to the place where you need to be. And what's exciting about this schedule, which we're going to dive into, is you got Notre Dame coming to Chestnut Hill. You got SMU coming here. You got Clemson coming here. You got a really good other teams, with Georgia Tech. And it's going to be primetime games. You're going to get also more revenue if you're winning because more eyes on BC. That was the theme of last year, right? More eyes on BC. Again, with the revenue share within the ACC, the more eyes we get on this team, also more money is going to come back to the university and help fuel that fire. So, Again, winning now is so important. So, like, again, getting to that 7-8 win season or more would just be huge. And you have that opportunity. It's a massive challenge, but it's all right there.
And real quick, before I let you go, Jack, for our buddy Pat Kraft-Burner, this is the 03 Troy Bell jersey. I thought that was a good occasion to throw that out. To answer your question, the BC bookstore hates to see me coming. I have too many BC jerseys. I'll see if I can pull out another one for next week. I know I got a couple up my sleeve, but yeah, appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, Jack, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone's you talk about taking your licks as a fan base. Like, I don't know if anyone's taking more licks than a 20-year BC fan post Matt Ryan. And if there was a year to kind of surprise people, you keep hoping it's the year. Like we hoped Castellanos would be the guy that surprised people. We thought after the Florida State win, that was the start of something. And this year does set up really well, where you have a a 4-star quarterback, taking the reins. Bill O'Brien's your head coach. You have 3 college football playoff teams on your schedule in your home stadium, and it would really be like you talk about things that are like oh, that's so BC. Like BC going up 20-0 against Louisville last year and then losing. That's so BC. Like it'd be very BC just to lay an egg in each of those 3 games against the football team, the college football playoff teams, and we just cannot afford
against the football teams. Yep,
can't afford to squander 3 like high profile games like that. And I mean, you got Clemson. I mean, we're probably gonna run into a buzzsaw there. I'm not gonna lie. Like they got K Klubnik, they're gonna be a top 4 team for most of the year probably. But I mean, Clemson or SMU, Notre Dame, like we'll have I think real shots to attack those games. And if we just win one of those games, it's just so huge for our prospects for finally getting that 8th win this year, and just the program in general. So I think it's a tough schedule, like you said, Brett. But this is a year. This is a very pivotal year in terms of the landscape, the competition you have coming in, just in terms of the implications for the next 4 or 5 years of the program.
Mm-hmm. And to your point too, it's like and I know I've posted about this on Twitter, just kind of getting people's responses, just with like, if they went 7-5, or let's just say for the regular season they go 7-5 again, like is that a disappointment? And it's like it was like half and half. Like some people, I think a lot of people don't take into consideration just how hard the schedule is. So it's kind of like, oh, the same rec as last year. Of course, that's going to be like a bad year. Where the people who, do take in consideration, like the schedule is a lot more difficult. Like that is the reasoning behind it. But I think that there is a case, or there is something to be said where it's just like, and I think both can be true, where it's like, if they have the same record against a much harder schedule, that it is successful in that way. There's also, a little bit of disappointment just with the overall like wins and losses, but I think you absolutely cannot go 6-6 or 5-7 and just kind of point at it and be like, well, the schedule is really hard, right? Like then that's like a black mark.
I feel like
on the season.
I feel like we look like as media, which is a responsible thing to do. I feel like we look at the schedule and go, man, if you're 7-5 as a fan, you should take that and just, for the chance to go to a bowl game and get that 8th win, that's a win, right? But I found it really cool that Bill O'Brien said, recently on a media podcast, he was saying how like he mentioned like 8 wins. He hears it all the time, like 8 wins, haven't got 8 wins since 2009. I feel like he understands, like, as much as, because we're followers of the program, we can see the schedule and we would be happy with 7. Like, at the end of the day, nationally, if we're trying to get, again, the BC brand to the national recognition, no one's going to care if BC had a tough schedule or soft schedule. They're, at the end of the day, They're going to see, did BC get 7 or 8 wins or 9 wins? And then that's going to be their, like, view of BC. And I think Bill understands that because, like, again, the whole thing is to get the BC program, BC football program, and the national brand of BC to that national level where people are like respecting this program. And until you get that 8th win, it's no one's going to give a crap if, well, we had Notre Dame, Clemson coming here. So like, I get it, man. Like I from that perspective, like everyone, and especially for Boston fans that are like, they don't follow this team as like at the end of the day, they just want to see a program get to that 9th, 10th win. Like when Matty Ice was here at the Heights, they were getting 9, 10 wins consistently. That's when like there was a bigger following, and you had those casual fans like we talked about last week come along. I think until you get to the point, Bill O'Brien understands that. I think we understand that as followers too. It's a big deal. Just winning is at the end of the day the biggest thing. Obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And when you kind of look at it like that too, look at 2023 when they went 6-6 and everyone was pumped that they went from a 3-9 team to 6-6, but like no one cared that the schedule was cream puffs. They just were happy that they won 6 games, and I think same with this, like no one's really, I don't think people are going to be willing to use that excuse of, oh, it was just too hard, say they do go 7-5 again, and then people kind of look back and it's like, well, that was a really freaking hard schedule. Like, of course they went 7-5. But I just think that a lot of people are kind of looking at it like they really, it's at this point, like it taking all the, the side stuff out of it, like whatever the case may be, like whether it's a hard schedule, injuries, this person, that, they're taking all of the objectivity out of it and just looking at it from a thing of like, did you win 8 games? And for the past 15 years, that answer has been no, and 2009, that's a long time. That's a very long time, same. It's like that basketball, that academic school year was the last time that like students like that were, had like a decent football team and a decent basketball team. Like it's been a long time. And when you really break it down too, it's like 15 seasons, 14 of them have had 7 wins. None of them have been, 11 of 15 seasons have had 7 wins, and like none of them 8. Like that's a big hump. You know what I mean? And like, we talked about it earlier. This is our 3rd year, covering the team as journalists. Like this is the 3rd year that like we are actively talking about it. Like, is this the year? Is this the year? You know what I mean? Like, are we going to have to go another 2 to 3 seasons, another couple of recruiting classes, and still like opening up like the 2027 BC football season? When we're playing, such and such Tech, are we still going to be saying like, are we going to win 8 games this year? Like at some point, like you either have to, or just kind of accept the fact that like, you're not, but it's hard to accept the fact that you're not when like you've seen them do it before. Like, it's not like this team has never won 8 games before. Like there was a stretch where they were winning 9-10 games like yearly. They were when they were in the Big East, they were killer, and first couple of years of the ACC, they were killer too. And it's just like, so it's like when you've seen them do it, they can do it. It's hard to sit there and be like, well, this is all they are. Like this is their ceiling. It's like,
I feel like whether you're a diehard or a casual BC fan or whatever, like you're sick of hearing at this point, oh, it's a rebuild year. Oh, they have momentum. Oh, the program's on the rise. It's like it's been 15 years. Where's that 8th win? And, we like, just like you're saying, bro, we've been covering this team, and the last 4 years we've seen 5 different quarterbacks. So it's like you're finally at the point now where it's like, okay, you've named a starter. He's got 3 years of eligibility. Is this finally going to be a time where we can consistently win? And again, tough schedule or not, can you pull off that 8th win to really get this thing moving? Because at the end of the day, that is the biggest storyline. Like that's what everyone's talking about. It's like almost every week when we write articles previewing or recapping games, it's like, is BC going to get to that 8th win, which they haven't gone to again since 2009. I don't know how many. I've already said it 3 times in this podcast. It's crazy.
Ad nauseum, it's make or break at this point. Do we have a depth chart that has come out yet?
It should be coming out this week.
Okay.
Again, I don't know how much you can take the depth chart going into Fordham week, but
do you think there's going to be a lot of oars on there?
Probably a lot of oars, and then again, it's like I don't even know if like Bill actually makes these depth chart. I think like the comms department puts this out, so it's not like take it with a grain of salt. But so I obviously I think that Fordham is going to be like the only automatic win on this schedule. So I didn't do a full, I should say, in-depth preview for this game, but I had a fun thing, Brett, if you want to pull it up. The one thing I think we can talk about with Fordham, the most interesting thing I think this game week is their controversial branding. I wanted to get Jack and Brett.
Not Dylan Lonergan's, not his first career college start. You think it's the branding?
I think Fordham's branding is what we need to discuss, because I think this is the thing.
This is not the one I saw.
Bill Brian up at night. What do you guys think?
No, Fordham's be honest. The reason why we're going to discuss this is because we don't know anything else about this program.
Yeah, we're giving them bulletin board material here. If they're if any Fordham players or families are.
I mean, it's game week. It's Fordham hate week. What do we got, boys?
We got the crest. I mean, their new crest.
I could have made that logo, and we all know how limited my graphic design skills are.
Little Canva. It looks like it was made in Canva.
It's just like it's a classic. It's a thing how all these brands they used to be all lively. Now they're very corporate and toned down.
Minimalists.
It feels very like that. Like the Cracker Barrel thing.
Oh my God. Yeah, this is Cracker Barrel.
I'm not a big I've never been a Cracker Barrel, but now I'm definitely not going because of their logo. Like I'm not going to afford them now. Like hell no. Mac, you said before the show, it's very reminiscent of the Lord Farquaad.
Lord Farquaad and Shrek, the flags on the castle.
Yeah.
Shrek people. But yeah.
Have you guys been to Fordham's campus before?
No, I have not.
No.
Well, it's very gothic, a lot of stone.
So it fits right in there.
Yeah, I could totally I don't know if they have thrown this logo around everywhere on campus yet, but I could totally see these as like flags hanging down from their castle-looking buildings. Like it's very gothic. It does, the logo I'd say does fit right in with their campus vibe, but I don't know, the Ram is just so good on the F, especially because like Fordham's like a very you think Boston College fan is niche. If you're a fan of the Fordham sports team, that's incredibly incredibly niche. And it's like it's cool they have this one thing. Like they're the Rams, and now they don't.
Ram, and I feel like the F was so like kind of old school, like high school Letterman type of thing going on there.
Yeah.
Like their block logo. Again, we're previewing their logo because I don't know anything about their team, but I would say what I know about this is that a lot of the alumni are kind of upset with this logo change too. So I mean, I think on board. But
I often wonder, like when BC changed their logo back in like 2000 or 99, whatever it was. I wonder like how dismayed people were with that. I've often wondered that because that was like,
devastated.
People are still by that, I think.
Yeah. I just wonder what like the outpour was at that point. Like that, obviously the internet was like a lot different back then, but I often wonder if like people were like up in arms about it because
it was like the big thought. I mean, it was like BC going to the ACC, Father Leahy kind of changing that. It was kind of the Father Leahy logo, like being like, this is the new administration coming in, or modernizing it to, what his brand was, I guess. But yeah, at least it's
just very much what you grew up with. Like the people that, are longtime fans by the time they changed the logo in 2000, they were fans in the 80s when Flutie was, like an icon. So, I mean, they've fought, like if for the Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles, if they change their logo right now, I'd be devastated, but they've changed it 5 or 6 times probably in their history. But
sure.
I've watched them win, 2 Super Bowls now. So, it's just the kind of thing you grew up with. And if you have fond memories associated with it, I'm not surprised that there's people probably devastated, but I don't know how many fond memories are associated with the Fordham F and the Ram, but I'm sure there are some, and I'm sure those people are devastated. So, pour it out for them.
That recaps the Fordham preview.
Yes, We're moving on. What else we got?
No. So I would say going into this game, obviously the actual storyline is it's Dylan Lonergan's first game, and as a starter, and we're just excited to see him. I don't know how much of the playbook you're going to see. That's probably going to be very vanilla, obviously, before you go into Michigan State. But just excited to see him have a bunch of series, and then, for all the homers too, you're going to see Grayson probably play a good chunk of the game as well. So that'll be nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's you hope it's like the Duquesne game last year. The 56-0 type performance. I mean, we were talking about the show, and you think back to the Holy Cross game 2 years ago, just the FCS team that just hung around way longer than it should have, and you just can't have that. You can't have any semblance of that in this sort of game, especially like you want to see the guys, limiting their mental mistakes, because they know they should win. They know they're far superior to their opponent. You just want them to be, see them executing the best, the way they should be under a Bill O'Brien coach team.
I have two questions just before we go to Michigan State. 2 questions on this game for you guys. First question: do you think Dylan Lonergan plays past the first half? And then second question: does BC score more than 50 points?
Yes and no. I think he's never started a game before. I think he's going to get as many game reps as he can.
Yeah.
I think they go 5 scores, like 31-0, 35-0. Then I think,
and then they pull.
You bring in Grace in the third quarter. Wait, and you said 50 points the second one. Yeah, I think they do score 50 points. I think they do. Like
that was kind of my thing too. I was only thinking they might score 50 because once you pull on again, after you maybe go up 4 scores or 5 scores or whatnot, you have Grace and James coming in.
True. Yeah, that is true. And he probably, there's a good chance he knows the offense better than Lonergan right now. So, but I do wonder internally within the locker room how much people think of it as a competition still, even though he's announced a quarterback one. Like I don't know, because I'm sure Grayson James is going to be coming into that game up 5 scores, wanting to look better than Lonergan. And I don't know. I'm curious about that dynamic because I'm sure it's not. I'm sure Grayson doesn't view himself as a career, full season backup. So I'll be curious to see how he looks if we see him.
Yeah, especially it's like, hey, let's tune him up against Fordham, and then if Lonergan begins to struggle against Michigan State, like there's my opportunity. Or if he struggles in the next couple of games, like my opportunity's coming. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he comes out slinging against Fordham, really looking to cement himself, as an everlasting option, in the event that he does struggle. I'm sure he's rooting for, Dylan to succeed, but he's a 5th-year player. He's a vet. He's going to be ready. I'm sure his mindset is to be ready and stay ready for, when his time comes or his number's called on, however you want to put it.
Yeah, it's such great content if they go like first half, second half, and put up the exact same numbers between Lonergan and James. It'd just be great content for us to talk about.
Yeah,
did Bill make the right call? I don't know.
That'll be important though, because that will be the question kind of going into the Michigan State game when you have like a formidable like opponent there, where you're kind of, if it is even like that, and then they're going to Michigan State, the question is how long or how short is that leash with Dylan Lonergan? Like if he does struggle, like I'm under the impression I think Bill really is like, this is my guy unless he struggles like significantly. But again, there's also the whole other thing where he's like, we got to win now too. So you kind of got those things pushing against each other where he's like thinking about, we got a guy 3 years eligibility, high ceiling, but then he also like, we got to beat Michigan State. You got to win. So it'll be interesting. That will be.
I mean, I don't think anything could happen. I mean, barring something insane, I don't think anything could possibly happen against Fordham that could change Bill's mind on the quarterback, realistically speaking. But I don't know. I'm sure that's still a question. And there's 105 players in the locker room or whatever it is. Like, I'm sure that it's a question for a fair amount of those guys who were on a team led by Grayson James that played really well at the end of last year. So I'm sure that's still lingering to some degree.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think that there's anyone who is like, pissed at, or not pissed. I don't think anyone's mad about the decision that was made. And at the same time, I don't think anyone's like worried.
Yeah.
I think that there's, two capable quarterbacks. One's named the starter, one's supposed to have better upside, and that it so far it seems like he's kind of as advertised. And in the event that it isn't going, the way that they needed to go, they can make the change. But also like I pray to God that isn't what happens, because it's just like if we have to go through another.
I don't want to do that again. We're done with it.
Not only do I not want to do that again, but it's just like that really like puts the future at complete chaos, right? Like,
well, that's like what I said
last stability.
That's what I said last week too, Brett. When you asked that question, I was like, "What? How does BC get closer to that ceiling of like an 8-9 win season?" And the only way is if like Dylan Lonergan blows us away, like even more than how I've been saying how he's been, progressing and doing well every practice and getting better every week. Yeah, he's got to continue to do that, but he's going to even do better than that if BC has a chance of, with this schedule, getting to 8-9 wins. That's our only chance. So any quarterback controversy speaks to the opposite, So hopefully there isn't, and hopefully he stays healthy, and hopefully he can continue that trajectory. But kind of speaking to just what you're saying there, Brett.
I mean, really, what we need is Eli Holstein, the quarterback from Pitt, who transferred from Alabama and got them out to they were like what 6 or 7-0 before he got hurt. And then
they 6-0 and they ended 6-7 with the bowl loss. I think they might. I think
they were 7-0 and they finished 7-6 with a bowl loss.
That would be very. I was talking about things that are very BC. That would be very BC.
Oh my God! Would it ever?
Avoiding the 8th one at all costs. Starting 7-0. But yeah, I mean, I mapped out. So you ever see on Twitter some people like they map out their best case, worst case, likely case scenario. I mean, to get to 7 wins, you got to beat one of Clemson, Notre Dame, SMU, Georgia Tech, Syracuse. Like you got to beat some quality opponent. Like there's only so many Stanford and Cal's on the schedule. Like there's not much room for error on the schedule for a team. How we think of BC as very much, they're not. They are what they are. There's not, if they want to get to 7 wins, there's not a ton of room for error on the schedule. It's just kind of scary because like if it goes the wrong direction, even as soon as Michigan State, we're looking at a tough road to a bowl game. I think at least I hate to be, the Debbie Downer here, but. I mean, we talked the whole thing like, oh, the schedule is what it is. We just want to win 8 games. I'm like, I wrote it out. I'm looking at the schedule now. I'm like, I don't know. It's I'm having a tough time here, but I don't know. Not much room for error for sure.
Kind of on that note, Jack, I think it would be a hot take. I would say for a BC perspective, but I think Bill O'Brien finally gets them over the hump of not having a WTF loss. Mm-hmm. Every year we have a what the hell happened loss. Last year I thought Bill was going to come in and not have that, but the Louisville game happened, right? They go up even 20-0.
UVA too.
20-3 at halftime, still lose that game, right? That game as well. Yeah. I think this year, this would be my hot take, I guess, especially if they want to get to 7 or 8 wins. Bill finally gets them over the hump where they don't have a what the hell loss, which probably isn't as hard this year because there's not that many of those games where that could happen because there's a lot of good opponents on the schedule. But that means you can't lose to UConn, you can't lose to Cuse, and you can't lose to Stanford, Cal, or that's pretty much it. So you can't have any losses against them because if you do, it's going to be tough going to a bowl.
Yeah, well, true, but I mean, you wouldn't have called if you looked back on the schedule last year, we lost to Louisville by 6 points or whatever. You probably wouldn't look at that and say that's what the hell lost. Then you realize we were up 20-0 in the second quarter.
Yeah, in the same way, you can't have like a Halfley thing where you go up, 17 points on Clemson, and like would be the biggest upset in BC in modern history, and then lose that game. Like you can't have another that too. That
was devastating. 2 years in a row too. The Clemson games were brutal. But makes me think we're due.
That's what I think will happen. I think there won't be that this year, but again, for the last 15 years or whatever plus, it's kind of seemed that there has been.
They kind of had a thing. They kind of had a little thing last year where they're like played one like a good half and a bad half. I feel like they didn't play like many complete games outside of like maybe the last 2 weeks of the year when Pitt was
a full game.
Pitt was in shambles. UNC,
yep.
I don't think they were that good. It was a thing last year where they never put together like really 60 minutes.
That was a big talking point last year.
You hope that they can, it's their second year, their first full year. If you think about it with Bill, you hope that they kind of figure that out this year, and you can hopefully avoid those what the fuck losses in the sense that you're up 2 scores in the third quarter and you lost. So
exactly.
And how many of those do we have? I mean, I think of the Louisville, which was mentioned, UVA. Virginia. Yeah. And then there was, I'm blanking on it right now. Oh, Missouri. Missouri was right there too. It was like 14-3.
SMU, you're only down 3 with like a couple minutes left, right? Like,
yeah. Virginia Tech, you went down 28-0 and then almost came back.
Yeah.
That was brutal. Yeah. They had some. I mean, well, you think like when you think about having a coach like Bill O'Brien, like a guy that's been around the game for so long, and a guy was in the NFL for a decade plus. The thing that kind of comes with that is like, oh, this is gonna be like a really well disciplined team. They're not gonna like you can't mess around with you guys, and like you didn't really see that a ton last year. You might see that too, like, oh, it's his new team. He joined in March or February or whatever, but I mean. They sucked on special teams, and they never played. They played 30 minutes of good football every game. Like, and you just hope that they can clean that up a bit.
I'll speak to just that a little bit, Jack. I feel like last year the nice thing was penalty-wise, you didn't see those mistakes, but I agree with not getting them to play a full game. You saw that there's limitations there. I think, the defense obviously for Bill was that it was his first year, like you mentioned.
Yeah, totally.
I think as your second year, you're going in here, okay, there's more of your guys. You finally have a recruiting class in here. You have some of these true freshmen that you recruited. So you have more of that. But again, I think there'll be a little bit of that this year. But I think, there'll be more of Bill in what you expect from that NFL mindset of they know the situations. It's a second year. Everyone knows what's expected of them. So I think you'll see more of a complete game, but it might not be that full thing. Again, like we said, usually it takes 3-4 years for you really to have your system and mentality in place. I think you'll see Bill will be like halfway there this year, which will be a lot better. But, again, will that translate into 7-8 wins as we look at the schedule? We'll see.
Yeah. I walked through as we were talking in the first 10 minutes, I walked through the exercise of my best, worst, and then like most likely scenario. The worst scenario kind of terrifies me because in the worst scenario, we lose to Michigan State away, which could very well happen. We drop one of Stanford Cal, which I don't think will necessarily happen, but it's 2 West Coast trips in a row. And then you got, who knows?
Cal's at home.
Oh yeah, Cal's at home. My bad.
Yeah.
But then you got. Who knows how good Pitt's going to be. Then you got Clemson, Louisville, Notre Dame, SMU, Georgia Tech, Syracuse, who are all, I don't know. To me, those are all losable games.
Worst case, you can lose Clemson down, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I for my worst case scenario column, I had us at 3-9, which really, I mean, it looks terrible, and it is terrible, but like like you said, Matt, you said at the beginning of the show, like Fordham's your only gimme win, because even UConn, Jim Mora, they won like 9 games last year, didn't they? They beat UNC in the bowl. Like I don't like I don't want to say that's a gimme, but I mean I marked that as one of our wins. But I mean, yeah, I mean it's just there's a lot of these games where like in year 2 of Bill O'Brien, you hope that he can win more of those toss-up type games or more of those games that you have no business losing. But
I had a very similar worst case, Jack. I had 4-8, Fordham, Stanford, Cal, and UConn. My good wins.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like UConn isn't a gimme either, but like I kind of set it at 4-8 because I was like losing every other game. He's kind of insane, but it's pretty close. I mean, it's not inconceivable, but yeah, like the fact that your worst case isn't even like just missing a bowl, it's like pretty brutal.
Yeah. For my likely scenario, I had us maybe a little generously at 7-5, and to get to 7-5, I have a starting 5-0. Which is what you're gonna have to do if you want to give yourself a chance at 8 games, and like in that scenario, you're gonna have to take down like SMU or take down Notre Dame or Georgia Tech. You really need that 4-1 5-0 start, because anything less than 4-1, you're really staring on a tough path to an even bowl game.
Yeah, now you're looking at trying to get to 6-6.
Yeah,
if you're at 3-2.
Yeah, for like the 19th year in a row. So
yeah, 3-2 would be very brutal.
Yeah, be very tough. Do you guys have record? Like Jack, I know you said you did best case, worst case. Do you have a what you think case?
Well, first tell us what's your best, Jack. Do you have a best case in there?
Well, like in this exercise, it's what you're doing is you look like, or what I do is like I look at every game. It's like, can I see us winning this game? And for everyone except for Clemson and Notre Dame, I'm like, yeah, I could see us conceivably winning that game. In that case, it's 10-2.
Which, yeah, those are the two that are like freaking. You just.
Yeah, it's like could I see us beating Louisville? Like, yes. Like, could I see us beating SMU? Yes. Could I see us beating Georgia Tech? Yes. Could I see all 3 of those happening at the same time? Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, that's my best case, I guess. Long-winded way to say 10-2. So pretty wide range here, 3-9 to 10-2. But
yeah, that's what we said last week. It's like I think the ceiling's a lot lower than people think because of the schedule, but the ceiling also is a lot higher if Lonergan is like a Superman. But there's a lot in the middle that could happen. It's a lot in the middle.
Yeah. If I had to guess, like put up like what I think is gonna happen, I look at my likely scenario where we start 5-0, lose to Clemson, beat UConn, we're 6-1, and then we have Louisville, Notre Dame, SMU, Georgia Tech, Syracuse. I only have us winning 1, finishing 7-5. If I had to guess, I say we probably start 4-1, lose to Clemson, beat UConn, win 1 or 2, like one of those games, probably finish 6-6. That's probably what I think. Which is still the over against Vegas. But yeah, that's probably what I think will happen.
Yeah. I feel like, Brett, do you want to take a stab before I go, or do you want me to roll?
Yeah, I mean, I did it earlier. I went through the schedule. I posted it. I have them starting 4-0 and losing to Pitt. And the reason why I have them losing to Pitt is just there's always that wonky, weird game. And I feel like going to Pitt, it's a lot to ask to say that the team's going to start 5-0. It'd be great. And I hope that they prove me wrong and they do go 5-0. It's a lot. I've long talked about the fact that like if they do want to have a good year, that the Michigan State game is like an imperative one to win. So for this exercise, like I do have them winning that game. And then, Stanford and Cal, I'm not superly, I'm not threatened by them. I think Cal, has a chance, but whatever. Well,
Stanford terrible against Hawaii, so
yeah. So we're gonna say Stanford win, Cal win, and then Pitt loss. I have them losing to Clemson, beating UConn, losing to Louisville. I mean, they're going down to Louisville. I mean, it's a better team than but Louisville's good. Losing to Notre Dame. I have them beating SMU.
Nice.
We'll see. That was kind of and then the Georgia Tech and the Syracuse, like this is where it gets like
it gets
tricky, right? Because it's like you said, like you're kind of running out of games to win on the schedule. I mean, through my exercise, if they beat SMU, they're 6-4. So they'd have to win the last 2 games of the year, which I want to be optimistic. I had them going, beating Georgia Tech and Syracuse. Could be a pipe dream. Who knows? But for this, wanted to do it. So I have them sitting at 8-4, and then we'll throw the bowl win in. Coach Ray Brown, who is he's now the cornerbacks coach for the 49ers. He was on the Bills staff last year. Wow. He replied. He said, "I think you shorted my dogs." I said, "I'm happy to be proven wrong, coach." He said, "I know my guys will. I'll follow up with an 'I told you so.' Hope all is well." So, some playful fun in there. It's all if you have your guys, if you think that they're going to be better than that, please, especially for this, I'd love to be wrong. If I'm wrong about 9-4 and you think they're going to go 10-3, 11-2, hey, I'll be wrong. You can hit me with the "I told you so," and we'll both be cheering. So I'm fine with that. Yeah, my prediction for the season, 9-4. How based in reality that is, probably not much, but a girl can dream, right?
She sure can.
Brett, I gotta say, I'm actually I don't think you're too out there. I feel like I'm my realistic take on what I think is going to be the outcome is actually more bullish. I think it's actually closer to the best case scenario. I am predicting, probably very hopefully, that Lonergan's going to continue to grow and you're going to see more of that ceiling earlier than expected. But I got Fordham winning. I got Michigan State, which is the biggest game, winning that on the road. And that's going to fuel into the next games. I know Stanford's tough, going back and forth. You win that on the road. The nice thing about Cal, so that's 3-0. Nice thing about Cal is that you got that bye week before it, and it's at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
4-0. I think you're riding all that momentum, even though it's at Pitt. You beat them last year. I know they were really injured, but you have a lot of confidence in swagger going to that game. I think you start off 5-0. That seems like a hot take, but it's, I think, somewhat realistic. Clemson, you're going to get your first L at home, but it's going to be a fun time at Alumni Stadium. UConn, you take care of business. You're 6-1. Mm-hmm. Louisville, again, this Boston College football team was up 20-0, 20-3 at halftime last year. I know they loaded back up, but I think this is just going to be one of those classic Bill O'Brien on the road. He's got his team sitting there at 6-1. I think realistically they can take that game. Again, very bullish. Notre Dame is a loss at home, but again, a great fandom, a great time at Alumni Stadium. I'm right here with you, Brett. And again, Notre Dame, I'll just say they're coming off a bye week. You obviously want that upset for the fans, but that's going to be a really tough one. So I don't think there's any chance of them winning that game. SMU is the red bandana game. I think I'm right there with you, Brett. That's the upset of the year. Also, SMU's coming off Miami that week, so they're going to be really up that week before. Okay. This is crazy. You have them sitting there at what? What do I have them at?
8-2,
9-2.
Georgia Tech, unfortunately, I know this is at a home game, but if you just look at the schedule, they're coming off 8 games in a row. That bye week was back in California. This is their 8th game in a row. And again, Georgia Tech, which I think they're with Haynes King, Heisman contender, I think they're going to be really good. I think they have a chance to go to the playoffs. That's their 3rd loss. They're sitting there at 8-3. And then, again, to get that 9th win, this will be a huge, huge game. You got the fans at peak level right now. I think you go to the Dome and you end the season strong there. So 9-3.
Wow.
That's realistic. But again, for that to be realistic, Dylan Lonergan has to go and just take the command of this offense and really show that ceiling, earlier than expected. And the nice thing is the schedule kind of moves with that progress as well. That meet between, again, Cal and Georgia Tech, 8 games in a row, they're just going to have to buckle down. But I think that I see them realistically at 9-3. And again, that could change. Like maybe they upset a Clemson, and then Louisville beats them or something. Like I think there could be some switches there, but I think 9-3 is realistic. Again, maybe some of my fan bias is coming around there, but I think this could be a really exciting season, special season.
Wow,
I love it, man.
I'm here for it, man.
Mac, when you're walking through that, I kind of this thought kind of occurred to me, like, at what point do you think we'll know, like, what kind of season it is? Like, because I mean, I talked out kind of when I was going, like, you can start 5-0. There's a scenario where you start 5-0 and then you finish 6-6. So I mean, we talk about the Michigan State game being kind of a tone setter in terms of the rest of the season, but like, they start 4-0 after Stanford and Cal. I still feel like I won't really know whether they're going to go 6-6 or if they're going to go, like you said, 9-3. I don't like. I guess we'll see the product on the field. We'll see what that looks like, but I feel like there's still going to be a lot of uncertainty, at least for me, about like what are the true like aspirations for the team.
I think it's going to come in 3 waves, Jack. I think there's 3 big tests throughout this schedule. The first major test is Michigan State. If you take care of business there, you're feeling like that's your first, like, hey, this team passed the test. Then you're probably looking at 4-0. I think that second test where fans go, hey, are they for real, does come against Pitt, because you're on the road again. It's BC for real. Are they going to look ahead to Clemson and like not take care of business like on the road? Like that's their second test, I think. Getting to 5-0 against Clemson is like, I think fans will start being like, we're here, we've arrived. And it might be too early or not, because I think then you're looking at how they perform against Clemson. That's going to be one of the biggest games at Alumni Stadium and so many years. Like if you're sitting there and you pass those first 2 tests, and it's not even about winning that game against Clemson. I think it's about on the national stage, can you compete? Can you get to that third, fourth quarter and be there within a touchdown or 2 and like put on a good show like Bill O'Brien keeps talking about? You can't just be 3 downs and a cloud of dust. You got to, put on a show for the fans at Alumni Stadium. I feel like that those first 6 games, you will know where this team's at. And there's 3 tests immediately. Like I think it's Michigan State, Pitt, are we for real? And then how do they do against Clemson? And then we'll know, like, I think after that, okay, then you look at the last 6 games and you'll be, hey, I feel good about this, or you're going to feel horrible about it. But you'll know, I think that first half of the season, we're going to know a lot about this team.
Yeah. I mean, there's tests and kind of like, hints, littered throughout the schedule, right? Like week 2 is like a hint as to how things are going to go. Pitt, it's just every week there's going to be little hints as to like how this season can and will go.
And maybe there'll be a little of luck. I think you got to hope for luck, right? You got to hope.
Yeah, sure.
We go to Pitt.
I mean, shoot, we haven't had much of it, so
like you hope when you go to Pitt, like there's a little Narduzzi special, and he just they totally just don't show up, and we pull that game off again. Maybe there's an upset against Clemson. Maybe you got Clemson, by the way, coming off of Chapel Bill, so they're in UNC the week before. So you got Dabo Swinney's going to have to go against Chapel Bill and then Chestnut Bill. So like you're looking at that. Maybe there's a little something there, especially if you're riding into that 4-1 or 5-0.
Yeah.
Do we clip them there? And then it gives you a little more of that breathing room. Or okay, you could lose a few more games in that last stretch because you're sitting in an incredible place. But again, I think there will be a little things from the universe that we need to help happen for a special season. But I think it's within reality there. As we talk about the ceiling and the floor within that space, I'm leaning more towards the ceiling is going to be the reality. But again, you're going to need a lot of things to go your way. It's a very hopeful take, but I think it's possible.
Sure. I think we all kind of went through and said like what our, most likely upset was. I think we all kind of have SMU circled on the schedule as, I don't know about the most likely, but it seems like the most realistic. Mac, I know like you've been at camp the whole way, like you've seen everyone. Who are some newcomers that we should be kind of watching out for on either side of the ball? Dylan Lonergan, transfers, freshmen, like who are some of the new guys that we need to keep an eye on?
Yeah, so some of the new guys, I mentioned this in the last pod, but I think one of the kids that you really want to take a look at, like everyone talks about the secondary as being like so deep, but there's this sophomore defensive back, Sayer Torrance, that's been just balling out all through training camp, going up against Lewis Bond, up against Reed Harris, taking on Amari Jackson at the line. Like he's been breaking up a lot of passes. I mean, one of the last training camps I went to, he broke up like 2 passes against Reed Harris, who's got about 6 inches on him. So Sayer Torrance is a guy to look. He was on the rise this camp. And again, when I talk about the depth in these groups, another group that has so much depth is running back, right? You have Turbo, you have McDonald, you have Broomback, but you got 2 freshmen, true freshmen, by the way, that have come in here. Bo McCormick is a true freshman, broke all the records in Massachusetts last year. He got so many snaps at training camp. Like we weren't expecting this. Like going into camp, you thought, okay, true freshman, maybe he'll have some impact on special teams or whatnot. Mm-hmm. He was taking a significant amount of snaps. I think, like, I'm almost certain you're going to see him in the backfield this year, which is kind of unheard of for a true freshman. And you look at how deep that running back group is. I think you're going to see some immediate impact from him. He's not going to obviously get a lot of snaps back there, but I think you will see them in the backfield in certain situations. And then Dawson Pugh, again, another group that has tons of depth at wide receiver, right? You have Lewis Bond, Reed Harris, Jaden Skeet, the big 3, I've been calling them. But you also have Dawson Poe or Pugh, I forget how you say his last name, but he's coming here as a freshman as well. And he's been, again, I don't think he's dropped the ball all training camp. He's just been making play after play after play. So I think those the big ones that stuck out. Kalen Chudzinski, really good hands. He's the tight end, another freshman. You're gonna see. I think this is the exciting thing, Jack. Like you're gonna see Bill's guys make some media impact this year, which you're hoping for him because you kind of, if you trust in Bill and his ability to recruit and assess players, the fact that he has more of his guys, and not just that, but like guys that fit his system. Like they might not be that 4 or 5 star, but they're that high end 3-star that fits his program, which we saw all the time at the Patriots, where they might not be the most talented, but then they come to the Patriots and then all of a sudden they're put in the right situation and look how they do. You're going to see now that he has more of the pieces at his disposal that he can again help, run his offense and his offensive system. I think you're going to start to see that impact this year. And again, I know who's also like a true sophomore and has 3 years eligibility, Dylan Lonergan. I think that all flows together. Again, it all drives from the quarterback, and the fact that he's got a quarterback that fits his system, a drop back in the pocket, who also can run, by the way. I think that's going to be the thing that BC fans are going to see this year. Is you're going to see more of a balanced offense. You're going to see more of a, pass forward offense. And it's going to be a little more exciting. With all these weapons that they have and with the guys that are more fit to what Bill O'Brien wants to do, I think that's the exciting part.
Yeah, totally. Do you have – so if you had to pick one on either side of the ball, so I'll give you some stipulations. They cannot have started – not that you know at the top of your head. They can't have started 6 more games last year. And I guess that's it. Who are your like preseason like up and comers? If you had to pick one on each side of the ball, and you can't say Lonergan either.
Oh well, disclaimer. Then I have to immediately go Jaden Skeet because he didn't play last year because he was injured.
Okay. Yeah.
I will say this: Jaden Skeet was probably the best player on the field all through training camp.
Okay.
Like I had a hunch going into that. Like, man, people aren't talking about this, but we got Jaden Skeet back. Like I remember him from 2 years ago, and even
he played well in the Fenway Bowl.
Even with the wrong quarterback, he was able to like make a huge impact, right? So now you have Dylan Lonergan who can get the ball out quick. He can make those intermediate or short passes, which, by the way, we didn't have last year. We didn't have that quick intermediate short passing game.
Mm-hmm.
With Jaden Skeet back, man, this offense is just going to be so much more wide open. I think you're going to see not a completely different offense, but you're going to start to see, again, that 25 to 50% more of what Bill O'Brien wants, which will be significant from the previous year. And then you add the quarterback aspect, that's maybe another 25%. Like I think you're going to see like a significant more of what Bill wants to do with this offense this year than people are expecting. Like I think people are going into this being like, oh, BC still needs to run. And they still do obviously need to run, but I think they're going to be running mostly to set up the pass. I mean, I think this is going to be way more of a pass-forward offense, whether it's to the tight ends or the wide receivers, because they got so much talent there now. And, of course, you got a quarterback finally that can get the ball out and make quicker decisions.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pumped for Skeet.
So pumped for Skeet. He looks
that
like
crazy one-handed catch.
He looks like an NFL player.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that was a sick video.
No, that was that's the best catch I've seen in person. It was.
Yeah. Where were you standing? Were you?
I was on the hill. It was outside.
Okay.
I had to turn away. It was like too good. It was so good.
Yeah.
It was definitely the best catch I've seen in person. And like I was saying, he looks like an NFL. You got two wide receivers out there that look like NFL caliber wide receivers. You got Reed Harris and Jaden Skeet. They both just look tremendous out there.
Honestly, neither of them is probably going to lead the team in receiving yards, if I had to guess. I'm sure that's still going to be Lewis Bond.
And then you got Lewis Bond, who's like the route runner that just gets open, man. Like when we talk about that competition in the training camp between the wide receivers and the secondary, like there was very little separation in the wide receivers, especially towards the beginning of the camp that we're getting. But Lewis Bond, every time, man, he can get separation on anyone. He's going to be, again, the go-to guy. So, like I was saying, the big three, man, that's exciting. And the nice thing about those big three, sometimes you have like those top receivers that all do the same thing. Like each one of these receivers have a different aspect of their game that's very different from the other. So they'll be able to really open up, I think, Reed with the long ball, Lewis Bond with all the route running, and then Skeet with the quick passes to the outside. I think this could be really exciting if they use those tools the right way.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now we're in the game week, so no more training camp talk.
Wow. Money where the mouth is this week.
Yep.
Can't wait.
They count now. Any final thoughts?
I just want them to be I want to see them dominate, of course, and I think they will. I just want to see them pass the eye test. I want them to look disciplined. I want them to, execute the way a Bill O'Brien coach team should. So I'm positive based on what we've heard out of training camp from Mac. And I'm pumped. 5 days, 5 sleeps.
5 sleeps.
We got a lot of cool stuff coming. I think we talked about it before. We're going to have some pre and post content. Mac's been absolutely crushing the Instagram and TikTok stuff. So there'll be a lot more video content coming for this year. We have some merch that'll be coming out soon enough. I don't think we've secured a launch date yet, but be on the lookout for that. We got some really cool stuff coming your way. I think that's it. If you haven't followed the new Twitter, Eagles Daily _BC. Make sure to drop us a follow along for all updates and everything from the site, the podcast, all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, we're here. This,
for the fans,
season's upon us.
We'll be putting out some good fan content. We'll be at me and Brett will be there at Alumni Stadium, and yeah, I'm just excited because I feel like I'm excited for the fans. Like, I've had the pleasure to watch the team and especially Dylan Lonergan kind of progress throughout training camp, but you guys will get to see Saturday him out there for the first time. So like you're saying, Jack, the eye test and all that, I think you guys are going to be excited. It's tough to express it on media just to get you guys on board, but I feel like the articles Eagles Daily have been putting out and all this stuff, we're seeing this, so it's just going to be exciting for fans. Again, go to Alumni, tailgate, see Dylan throw some dimes, see Grayson throw some dimes, and then just get a W.
Get a W, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Episode 33 in the books. The 2025 season is upon us. The next time you see us, we will be wrapping the Fordham game and getting ready for Michigan State. Who would have thought? Thank you for tuning in, and go Eagles.
Go Eagles.
Go Eagles.